Winston mentioned this and put some flair into it when he talked about how Paramount was kind of whining about it, and rightfully so. I think maybe not why they were whining, but I understand why they're whining, because they were so confident. And look, I started off the show by saying I was wrong. I was convinced that they were going to get it. I was convinced. I thought there was no world where this guy was going to be told no, and he'll find a way to do it. Plus, the other thing we haven't mentioned at all is the backing by the Saudis. I don't think Netflix has the backing by the Saudis, but they did, and everything that was lining up with this, it seemed like, well, this is inevitable. This is going to happen. Well, I think they were as shocked as we were, because they were like, wait a minute, what happened? We got screwed. And now what does that mean for Paramount? They have the UFC. It's a big deal, right? They just lost Taylor Sheridan, so that's not a good thing for them television-wise. They don't have the strongest slate. They don't have a lot of franchises. So
Sonic.
Right.
They got Sonic, and they have Ninja Turtles, which they're trying to revamp. Right. I think I know why specifically they are literally going.
Let's read the letter. Let's read the letter first, and then we'll kind of get into it. So, here is Paramount, CNBC. They questions Warner Brothers Discovery on the fairness and adequacy of the sale process, and then you can read the full letter. So, Paramount Skydance is questioning the fairness of Warner Brothers Discovery sale process and whether it's acting in the best interest of shareholders, according to a letter reviewed by CNBC. Paramount made 3 offers to acquire the entirety of Warner Brothers Discovery before the company launched a formal sale process, CNBC previously reported. Earlier this week, Warner Brothers Discovery received second-round bids from Paramount, Netflix, and Comcast, which is what was reported by CNBC. Paramount Skydance is calling foul on how Warner Brothers has conducted its sale process. In a letter received by CNBC, Paramount attorneys told Warner Brothers Discovery that David Zaslav that Paramount was questioning the fairness and adequacy of the process, which officially launched in October. This week, Paramount, Netflix, Comcast submitted second-round bids to acquire some or all of Warner Brothers Discovery assets, CNBC previously reported. So where is it? Where's the hell the rest of it? That's it?
No. There's a lot reported. It has become increasingly clear.
Wait, no. I got to see it. Where is it? Where?
It's.
I see it. I see it. Okay. It has become increasingly clear through media reporting and otherwise that Warner Brothers appears to have abandoned the semblance and reality of a fair transaction process, thereby abdicating its duties to stockholders and embarked on a myopic process with a predetermined outcome that favors a single bidder, reads a letter from attorneys at Quinn Emanuel. We specifically request and expect this letter will be shared and discussed with the full board of directors of Warner Brothers. In particular, Paramount's letter calls out reports that Warner Brothers management appears to favor Netflix's offer. Netflix has made an offer mostly of cash, while Paramount's latest bid was all cash, according to people close to the matter who declined to be named speaking about confidential dealings. All 3 companies submitted higher bids than their initial offers, that people told CNBC. As of Thursday morning, Netflix was the leading bidder based on how Warner Bros. Is valuing the offers. People familiar told CNBC. Comcast executives, for their part, continue to be disciplined in the company's offer as to not anger shareholders by taking on additional debt and risking its balance sheet, according to people familiar with that company's thinking. Comcast leadership has previously said that its bar for the M&A is generally high. Warner Bros. Discovery told CNBC it confirmed to Paramount that it had received the letter and would share it with members of the Warner Brothers board. Please be assured that the board attends to its fiduciary obligations with the utmost care and that they have fully and robustly complied with them, and I will continue to do so, the company said in response to Paramount. Warner Brothers requested third-round bids from the potential buyers due Thursday. Sources told them the company expects to announce a winner as early as next week. While first-round bids arrived in mid-November, Paramount has been vying to acquire the entirety of Warner Bros. Discovery, which includes its streaming services, HBO Max, Film Studio Warner Bros., and a portfolio of networks, yada, 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 yada. Warner Bros. Discovery rebuffed 3 offers made by Paramount, the last of those for $23.50 a share before launching a formal sale process to beckon other buyers. Netflix and Comcast are interested only in the streaming and film studio. That's the baffling thing to me. Because as we see, they were kind of bitching about it right before it was even announced about Netflix taking it on. But Kris, I think you mentioned it earlier, right? The baffling thing to me is why you are selling off your company into pieces when somebody wanted to buy the whole kit and caboodle, because it seems like it wasn't like for substantially more money. It seemed like it was okay. They want to buy this, they want to buy that. We still have a couple other things we didn't sell to them. All right, I'm so excited to find new gifts for people in the holiday season, and I know people are looking for gifts. They're running around right now. I get it. You're like, what am I going to get for somebody that I know that they're going to like? It's stressful. Trust me, I got it. Aura Frames. It is the one that you're going to get for somebody, and you're going to feel like, oh, they really thought about me when they got this. I have a problem when it comes to searching for like my mom. What is she gonna like? I don't know. And I'm like, you know what? Getting her a frame. She's gonna love it. She's got so many great pictures from the past and things she could use. It's amazing. So here's the beauty about it. You can upload unlimited photos and videos to this thing. You just have to download the Aura app, and it connects right to the Wi-Fi. You can preload the photos before they ship out. You can personalize your gift. You want to put a message in there. It's amazing. You can share photos and videos, no problem whatsoever. You can go right from your phone, and it's all year round. And there's a gift box included. That's pretty cool too. Every frame that comes packaged in a premium gift box with no price tag. So for a limited time, you can save on the perfect gift. You got to visit auraframes.com. You're going to get $35 off of Aura's best-selling Carver matte frame. It's named #1 by Wirecutter. You got to use the code, though, Kristian at checkout. That is auraframes.com. Promo code Kristian. Now, this deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames do sell out real fast. So if you order yours now to get in time for the holidays, you're going to appreciate it. Support the show by mentioning us at the checkout. Terms and conditions apply. But is it just because they didn't want to sell to Skydance and they didn't like maybe is because Saudi's money also in there? Maybe because look, there was that conversation from the comedy festival and all of the stuff in the money of that comedy festival of people like, how can you take money from them when this and that? Is that something that they didn't want to be a part of? And it was easier to go to an American-based, company to say it's Netflix. It makes us feel a little better. Like, how do you feel about that?
I think that's what it is. And that is me making a lot of wild assumptions. I am not in the room. I have not gotten to read every bit of press that has come out since this has been breaking all day and all evening. But it does feel like, hey, look at us. We did as I shake my entire camera. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like, look at us. We did the integrity move. Yes, we want you we want to sell our company, but we want to sell it to somebody who we also agree with, we believe in, and we aren't compromising anything. And it's also a very easy way to sidestep any of those conversations. I think, too, David Zaslav probably wants to go out on a bit of a high here and doesn't want to have to deal with a whole bunch of, you sold to the wrong person for these political reasons, government affiliation reasons, et cetera, et cetera. I think this is just a little bit easier ultimately for that PR side. It is more difficult for the continuing sale of everything. Although, I mean, Discovery, someone else will scoop that up and everything. There's still talk about that going on and people are still bidding for that.
Right.
It just, we kept talking about it. It makes more sense. Why would I, if I'm having a garage sale, not go to somebody who's like, yeah, I'll take all your stuff right now versus me having to wheel and deal with every individual. So my assumption is that it is the kind of integrity of the sale.
I think it's both the integrity of the sale, but if I also remember correctly, I believe Netflix also came in at 30 a share versus 23.50. So you're also just talking about,
you are correct. Yes.
You're also just talking about, like, let's keep it a buck. Paramount didn't actually come with the goods the way that Netflix did. Like they did in certain ways. That is very true, Winston. But you were and that's the difference between someone that comes in and say, I'll take all your shit, I'll give you $500 for everything, versus someone going, no, I'll give you $750 just for this over here. So unless you're in a state of like, no, we have to go in the next 24 hours, fine, I'll take the $500 deal. I think this was the idea of like, well, we can actually get a lot of money just for this piece, and then we can deal with selling this one and get even more money. So it's annoying that you then have to renegotiate. But if you are actually trying to maximize your profits here,
you are right.
Actually, not a bad idea.
And especially because like the theme parks and other stuff too, like I don't think Netflix got anything to do with that, right?
I don't think so, but it would honestly, in my opinion, unless we're missing something where they're at a loss, I would take that. Disney makes most of its money from.
But that's what I'm saying. But maybe Netflix doesn't want to be in that business. You know,
I guess, but it's so like that's one of the few businesses that once it's established, it kind of just takes care of itself, you know.
What were you gonna say, Kris?
I feel like the synergy of that would be great for them, honestly. You already have Epic Universe having Dark Universe, which is classic Universal monsters and stuff, but that is an easy ad for Stranger Things. You know,
well, Stranger Things already has a presence on
Horror Nights.
Yeah.
But then you make it a staple. You know, you take a lot of that freaky IP and you put it into the theme park, and that stuff sells like bananas. I mean, as a former Disney employee, they make so much money. Just it's kind of the idea of like concessions in a movie theater, right? We get you into this place, you will spend so much of your money on the dumbest stuff. So we just have to give you this tiny little taste of something to get you in here to spend more. And honestly, that's how they could really, really profit.
But they already said though, but didn't it? But isn't it kind of like a moot point at this point because like it's not part of the deal. So I mean for now. But it's like they didn't buy that, so it's like they bought HBO Max and they bought the streaming stuff.
So that I guess
if they're having the rights to those shows, then they would be able to use that IP.
Yes, but the question I think that they actually, but there's things that I don't know. It's complicated, right? That I guess is the whole point of this. It would have been less complicated for us to talk about if Paramount would have bought it. Because you're like, oh, they own everything. It's now they now have Warner Bros. But now because it's broken off into different things, you're like, well, how does that actually work? And well, they own the shows. So can they do this? Are they able to do that? I don't know.
I mean, the other thing that I was thinking about, to be honest with you, as far as like any sort of monopoly or antitrust stuff, though, again, Netflix doesn't like, yes, they do movies, but they don't have like a film studio traditionally the way that like Skydance now has by owning Paramount. So there's also that idea of part of why Disney was able to get away with the Fox sale, because that was brought up then too, is they only took certain assets. They didn't take a lot of the TV stuff and everything else, you know what I mean? Or whatever part they kind of splintered off. And they said, we just are taking this element. By Netflix also doing this, they're not then overlapping as much as Paramount would have.
Right.
And that would have, even though they're saying, well, we have, you know, the government on our side to do this anyway, you are also avoiding that. And I also see that being cleaner for Warner Brothers, who really wants to get rid of this, to go, now we don't have to worry as much if this went full force this other way.
I also wonder what happens to the Warner Brothers lot. You know, it's like, are they keeping it? They keeping that product? Because that's you know, there's a lot of questions that come with that. Because go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I have a buddy who works at Netflix who's constantly been talking about them expanding and getting more offices and doing things. So my assumption would be
they have it, right?
We keep it. We put an end on it.
Yes, but here's as someone who used to work on the Warner Brothers lot, right? So the question is then, the history that comes with that lot in general is one of the questions. The other side, which is the inevitable question and the unfortunate part of this, as we all know, people will be losing their jobs. Yeah. Now, the question is who? Because you're also looking at, I mean, I'm thinking about my friends that are over at the Warner Brothers side that are publicists, right?
Yep.
Now, do those people, because they're getting more properties, do they have more responsibilities now? Because Netflix has 1,000 publicists when it comes to the different projects that they have.
Right.
Are those people just getting assigned more things, and the people who are already at Warner Brothers losing? And this is just the publicist side of it. I'm not talking about all the other things, because there are production companies that exist on the lot. Now, will those production companies, will their deals, I know that they're going to honor, that's what they said in the statement, those deals will be honored again for how long, which is going to be our last big conversation, is the same deal that James Gunn and Peter Safran have, right? They have a deal that will be honored at least until their contracts are done, and who knows what happens next. So there's so many questions, but the first thing is going to have to be there's going to have to be all the investigations on if this was done the right way and if it's going to pass, and then they got to get the approval of it too. Now, here's the other question that, not to get super political on it, but it should be discussed. It was assumed that if Paramount and Ellison got it, it would pretty much be signed off on pretty quick because of Ellison's ties to the government, and the Saudis are pretty tight with the administration as well too. So it's going to seem like it was like, okay, yeah, you guys are good. You bought it. Okay, it looks great. Great. See you later. Because Paramount's making a stink about it, is there going to be a holdup. And they're going to go, don't make it that easy on them. It's possible.
It is certainly possible. Just because you don't necessarily have an inroad, if again, without getting deep into the political conversation of it, all it kind of takes is a little bit of kissing the ring, and then stuff tends to just go whatever.
Doesn't seem like that's going to happen this time around.
I mean, I guess it just depends one way or the other. But like, yes, one person is the way this is essentially played out has just been the idea of like, oh yeah, we're like buddies, bro. This like we go back. If somebody just comes up and is like, hey, good to meet you. You seem like a nice dude. He's pretty cool. Well, wait a minute, I thought we were friends. Like it feels like if push comes to shove here, it will be okay. I like
maybe
in that regard, but
but there
you have to wait and find out.
You have to find out. I think there's this story is far from over.
Yep,
I can tell you that this is far from. It's not one of these things like that's it. It's over. Netflix got it. I think this is going to be. There's going to be a lot of court battles with this one, to say the least. The least. So I'm very curious of what everybody else is thinking about this. So please put your thoughts in there. Let us know whether, again, it's on the Clips channel, whether it is in the live chat, on the replay, whatever it might be.